The New York Jets are 2-2. They they, they lost to the Denver Broncos at home. Um, Score of 10-9. I don't it. You know, you watch that game and you start to get the same old Jets kind of vibe. You bring in Aaron Rodgers with the hopes that you don't have to deal with that anymore, and yet we witnessed a very Zach Wilson like day against the Denver Broncos. Well, it's over. We lost 2-2. Good news is the entire AFC East also lost, so we really didn't move much in terms of standings in the AFC East. Yes, the loss counts in the AFC, but the Bills lost, the Dolphins lost, the Patriots lost. So in essence, nothing changed in the AFC East. But the Minnesota Vikings are up next in London. And we just faced off against the number one defense when it comes to utilizing the blitz. Now we're going to face off against the number two defense when it comes to utilizing the blitz, not to mention they're second in the league in terms of turnovers. It's going to be a fun game, but you know what? Jets versus Vikings. We're in London this week. Let's talk about it.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we. All right. So, well, the Jets are in London. They're in London playing against the Minnesota Vikings, an undefeated, red-hot Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold has reinvented himself into an MVP candidate. Right now, the Vikings defense is the number one defense in the NFL. They're second in terms of the most blitz utilization in the NFL, only to the Denver Broncos. We struggled against the Broncos last week on the offensive line, specifically in terms of picking up the blitz. The run game was a non-factor last week. Aaron Rodgers seemed to be running for his life. You know, we've got Garrett Wilson fumbling the ball. Like it was just a mess. It was just a mess. It was a game that you watched and you sat there as a Jets fan thinking to yourself, we're supposed to be past this. We've endured so much, we've suffered so much that this should not be our story. And yet it was. It was in fact our story. We got to experience a 10-9 loss at home. The New York Jets were very, very undisciplined. They had 14 penalties for the tune of 90 plus yards. At one point, they had Bo Nix, in -9 yards passing in the first half on like 14 pass attempts. Like it's utterly ridiculous to me that the Jets lost that game. Aaron Rodgers did his best, tried to go ahead and bring us back, but you got us into field goal range, and Greg Zerline, that is his name, Greg Zerline, misses the kick. You need that kick. It's an ugly win, but you take it. We're still going to have questions about what's going on with this team. But in all actuality, we lose the game, and it's just now it's fire everybody. Jets fans are pissed. I'm pissed. You're pissed. We should be pissed. We're not supposed to be in these kinds of games anymore. We're not. We're supposed to be in games where we're seeing competent football being played. And we saw on so many occasions how the coaching staff had the opportunity to do the right thing, right? I mean, again, we get to first and goal on the 1 yard line, and you have a 240-pound, 6'2" running back, 20 years old, so young, fresh, strong legs. You don't use them. You don't use them, and you don't use them, mind you. Whereas the entire game, he's been your most effective weapon in the running game. Breece Hall. 10 touches for 4 yards. 4 yards. He didn't get into positive yardage until the second half. Brandon Allen, on the other hand, he was eating. He got the ball. He was getting yards. He averaged 5 yards a touch. First and goal on the 1 yard line. You don't bring out Brandon Allen not once to go ahead and pound the rock into the end zone. That could have been the difference in the game. That right there could have been the difference in the game. I think it was a low-scoring game. The defense came out to play. Bo Nix was not doing anything impressive. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. The defense came to ball out. The Jets offense under Aaron Rodgers was very stagnant. But I don't even blame Rodgers. I think the personnel usage was significantly flawed, to put it mildly, flawed. But you know what? That's it's over. Just lose. They're 2-2. They're one game behind the freaking Buffalo Bills. We were very much still in this. And the question I have is, what Jets are we going to get against the Minnesota Vikings? Because I truly don't know. I don't know if we're going to get the New England Patriots version of the New York Jets, where they looked like they were firing on all cylinders. The offense was clicking. Aaron Rodgers had it figured out. Up until this game, Aaron Rodgers was 13-0. Whenever he's had 9 or more days to prepare for a team, 13-0. Like, we just threw that away. He's 13-1 now. You saw him on the sideline looking like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was trying to figure out, how does this happen? Like, he was trying to figure out, man, is this what it means to be a New York Jet? It almost seems, and I've seen memes where it was like that was the moment Aaron Rodgers realized he was the New York Jets quarterback. Vikings are next. We're in London. So we're not home. They're not home. It's neutral ground. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I've grown to kind of like appreciate these games, especially when you see you Jets fanatics are insane. There's a ton of you guys right now that jumped on planes to fly to London to support this team. I know Dom, Connor, and Jake personally, and they went out there and they're doing their thing as Jets content creators, Jets fanatics to support the team. And from all indication, it looks like the New York Jets fan base traveled in droves to get to London to support the New York Jets. I'm telling you, man, this team doesn't deserve us. This team does not deserve this fan base, but we're gonna still show up. We're fanatics. By the very definition of the word, we're fanatics. Um, the Vikings are good. The Vikings are really, really good. They literally right now 4-0 undefeated team. Um, they've got the number one wide receiver in football, in my opinion, in Justin Jefferson. Right? I think Sam Darnold has finally come into his own. They've got great coaching. They're utilizing Sam's skill set in order to go ahead and maximize their ability, and you're seeing it. Sam Darnold's already in MVP conversations. The defense, I mean, my goodness, Brian Flores has done an incredible job. Dolphins really dropped the bag on that one. But Brian Flores has the league's number one defense right now. I mean, in terms of getting to the quarterback, creating pressure, turnovers, like they're doing it all. They're doing it at a high clip. They're doing it at an elite clip. Their weakness, however, is in the passing game. Right now, I think they're 31st or 30th in the league in terms of passing yards allowed. Last week, you saw them in a game where they were battling. They took the lead early, but then the comeback was able to get mounted. So, like, you start to look at some of these things, and you realize, okay, they're great right now, right? But they're not perfect. They're not going 17-0. The Jets can certainly come in here, go toe to toe with these guys, and win this game. I do believe when you have Aaron Rodgers, you have this defense, and you have running backs like Breece Hall and Brandon Allen. You're in any game. I don't look at any team and think the Jets have no chance. I think we can literally go up against anybody in this league. The only flaw I see on this team when I look at it is the coaching. It's the coaching, man, and I can't get over it. I looked at the game last week again. The Broncos are a significantly inferior team, and not because like I'm just saying that to be a troll, but it's a bunch of young guys, right? On the defense alone, there's one first rounder in Patrick Surtain. Everyone else are mid draft picks to undrafted free agents. But you got to admit, when you got the coach right, when coaching is a factor, it looks pretty darn good. Those guys played as a unit last week. The Jets were the better team. The Broncos played better. And you play better because coaching prepares you better. And the only advantage the Broncos had against the Jets last week was that they had the better coach, Sean Payton. And I'm not a fan of Sean Payton. I still don't know if the Drew Brees era was more of a fluke, and that was the reason. Like Tom Brady to Bill Belichick was Drew Brees to potentially Sean Payton. I think there might be some correlation there. But all I know is last week, in a gritty must-have game, and I do believe the Jets should have had that game. It's an AFC competitor. You need those wins. You need to stack those wins. The Jets lost, man. With the better team, you're at home, the better quarterback, you lose. And the only advantage the Broncos had was coaching. The Minnesota Vikings have a pretty good coaching staff. Their defense is right now the number one defense in football. I think you got to look at this game and realize this isn't going to be a cakewalk. I think if you ask anybody in the preseason, when we saw the schedule get released, you looked at this game and you thought to yourself, Vikings, boom, that's a win, right? Rookie, at the time we thought rookie quarterback, Brian Flores, you know what I'm saying? We were like, the defense had just lost Hunter, right? So they got weaker on the defense. You looked at it, you know what I'm saying? And you thought to yourself, yeah, you take away Justin Jefferson, game's in the bag. But not the case, man. These guys have got it figured out. They're playing as a unit. They're playing like a team that's well coached. Sam Darnold is playing like a quarterback with his hair on fire, pun intended. And listen, I'm a big fan of Sam Darnold. I was a believer that he should have been the guy. We should have just built around him. We traded him, which is fine. We didn't have the time frame to wait for this kid to figure it out, and here he is. I think in year 6, if I'm not mistaken. It's starting to click for him, and hey, you know what? Good for Sam. Good for Sam. However, saying that, I hope the New York Jets make him see Ghost on Sunday. I hope we bring him back to the time where he's seeing Ghost on the field. Sam Darnold is a guy who's susceptible to turn the ball over. When you create pressure against Sam, he tends to go ahead and crumble a little bit. And not for anything, but we've seen Sam Darnold start off very strong in years past and falter as the season went on. The Vikings aren't going 17-0. They're just not. Can this be the week where they get their first loss? I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. When you look at the advantages, once again, you break it down. The Jets have a lot of the advantages, right? Quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. I think Aaron Rodgers is a step up when it comes to Sam Darnold. Coaching. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to give coaching to the Vikings, right? Because again, they've shown us more thus far, and their defense is the number one defense right now in football. Our special teams, which are supposed to be a superpower for us, has been suspect. Our defense has been showing more consistency as we're getting back to form. Our offense, we know right now we don't know what to expect. And as a head coach, Coach Salah still has a ways to go. I don't think he's proven to us yet that he's really fit for that hat, that head coaching hat. So coaching goes to the Vikings. Running backs, I still believe we've got the best running back room. I mean, Jones is somebody that you can't sleep on, really, right? But again, he's on the back end of his career, I would say. I would still very much give the running back room to the New York Jets. Wide receivers, man, look, Justin Jefferson's a dog, man. I'm not sure if Addison is playing or not. I know he was banged up a little bit, but Justin Jefferson alone is a savage. Now I'll say this about receivers. If we're talking about a week from now, when we have an addition added to the team and our wide receiver room looks a little bit better, I would say wide receivers go to the Jets hands down. But right now, I'll say because they have JJ, and we've got what I want to say is depth: Allen Lazard, Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna give receiver to us. I'm gonna make it a wash. That's even. Wide receivers even. They've got the number one guy. We've got a plethora of guys that can go ahead and make plays. I think defensive line. I believe talent-wise, we've got the better defensive line, but the way they're playing right now, it's hard to go ahead and argue that they're probably a better line than ours, right? So do we go off of the talent level of what we're seeing performance-wise? We'll make it a wash. Defensive line's a wash. Offensive line, after what I saw last week, I have some question marks. Whereas the Vikings have done a really good job keeping Sam Darnold upright. So I'm gonna give this one to the Vikings offensive line. Linebackers, without question, we got the linebackers. Secondary, without question, we got the secondary. But other than that, man, like it's going to be a narrower comparison because this team is a good team. We're a good team. So this is going to be a good freaking comparison or a battle of the will, so to speak. And we got to ask ourselves, can Aaron Rodgers overcome, the coaching advantage that they have? Can Aaron Rodgers overcome the defensive line matchup that he's going to have to face right now? Which I do believe now, looking at it, that may be the best defense they face as in comparison to what we've seen thus far. This may be the best defense the Jets face until further notice. I don't want to say anything else. I thought the 49ers would have had that billet, but the way the Vikings are playing, they kind of moved themselves up there. I want to be the fan that says, yes, we get this dub. I really do. I want to be the fan that says, yeah, we're going to go ahead and redeem ourselves after what we saw last week. I really do. Aaron Rodgers is going in there a little banged up. We know the knee is a little bit of an issue for him. I know he was a full participant in practice yesterday. I know our Jets fans went out there to support this team, man, and go ahead and hopefully be rewarded with a dub. And I hope we get that. I really truly hope that we get that. But if you're telling me today I had to bet money on whether the Jets win or lose this game against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday morning in London, that answer is yeah. Yeah, we lose this game. I just don't see a scenario where we get the advantage in coaching. And again, when you look at the roster, it's two good teams playing football. The Vikings are playing it at a higher level right now, right? We can't even get our wide receivers and quarterback our number one wide receiver and quarterback on the same page. That's concerning. This isn't the game where you wanted to kind of go in there to hope everything gets put together, because this is a really good team. And I think unless we play high IQ football, unless our coaching staff puts together a pretty good game plan, I don't know if Rodgers can go in there by himself, elevate the offense to get the dub. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm just losing this game. I do. After just losing this game, man, we fall to 2-3. And the Buffalo Bills are up next. Now, the Bills, I think, can be beaten. I think that what we originally thought about the Bills in terms of weapons was proven to be true against the Ravens, who have one of the worst secondaries in football, who have virtually no offensive line push, yet they were able to dominate and embarrass the Bills in primetime. So I think the Bills, we're starting to see the bigger picture of who they are. So I think that should be a fun. We'll see next week, right after this week. But I think they just lose this game, and we're gonna lose it. I'm gonna say 27-19. Jets lose 27-19. And it looks good early, but it gets ugly late. And I say that because I think the defense, that Vikings defense, is going to wear down our offense, and I think our defense is going to get tired. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but 27-19, Vikings win. Jets fall to 2-3, and then it's Buffalo Bills up next. I got the Bills losing to the Texans. I got the Dolphins losing to the Patriots. So I'll have the new record for the AFC on the screen somewhere here. But again, 2-3. Tie with the Patriots, where we had the tiebreaker because we beat them. They'll jump up to third place, so it'll be Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins, in that order. And then we're on to next week. Hope I'm wrong. Really do. But as always, go Jets.
Congratulations, brother. Hey.